Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into it. When we talk about writing stories, scripts, books, short stories, whatever, it's a lot more than just writing a story. Maybe you're writing a journal, a personal essay, whatever it is. Maybe it's a legitimate pastime or hobby. I think almost everyone that has had any interest in writing has had to, we've all had to write papers for school or work or whatever it is. Everybody has experienced things like writer's block and indecision about which direction they should take their presentation, their essay, what topics they should cover, what their transitions should be from thought to thought. Now, these inhibitions, they can be just as detrimental to the creation of the written word as, well, anything else, in my opinion, that keeps the work from getting done. Either way, things stay stagnant, things don't get done, and nothing is written. Another great killer of written works is self-doubt and lack of motivation, where you just fall off of doing whatever it is you're doing completely. A great example is the amount of time in between this episode and my previous episode. Although I would say, I would go even further and say that excuses are not really valid if it's something that you are passionate about. And for me, that is science fiction, it's writing, it's using this podcast as a sort of echo chamber for all of my science fiction interests and musings and whatnot. And that's kind of evolved into my writing and talking to authors and other people and having these greater conversations, these greater sci-fi, fantasy writers' conversations. Now, self-doubt, lack of motivation, comparing yourself and your works to other people's, these things can make you so melancholy, so down in the dumps, that the thought of putting pen to paper repulses you. You know, it can inhibit you so much that you get sick to your stomach. You get laden down with fear, doubt, and envy. Now, how do we combat all of these things? How do we subvert the writer's block or the indecision that plagues us? How do we defeat our greatest enemies in ourselves? All those negative, sticking emotions and cloudy thoughts of doom and gloom. I think we can draw from several places of wisdom here. The Buddhists teach that patience is an act of engagement with the present moment. Might sound a little convoluted. Here we go. We need to focus our minds on the here and now and what our immediate goals may be. So a really, really small example could be, I want to write a short story that is 3 pages long. Okay, well, what do I want it to be about? What do I want to happen in the story? And we just keep asking those kinds of questions until, we get a general direction. We figure out what exactly it is we want to do inside of that greater goal. And this is a great combatant against envy in comparison to others, because we're shoving out all of those external thoughts that could weigh us down and lead us to not creating anything at all. If we focus on the why of what's compelling us to write, if we engage with the present notions of inspiration and ambition that lead us to our desks, our couch divots, or our office chairs, wherever it is, where our imaginations can run wild, and we just allow ourselves the time and energy it takes to accomplish our goals, I promise you, we will overcome what keeps us from our accomplishments. One of the greatest contemporary authors of the 20th century, Joseph Campbell, said that writer's block comes from too much head. Cut off your head. Pegasus, poetry, was born of Medusa when her head was cut off. You have to be reckless when writing. Be as crazy as your conscience allows. Now, this is pretty straightforward, I think. Lose your inhibitions. Make a fool of yourself. Allow yourself to write the most ridiculous, terribly stupid things possible. All it is stretching your mental legs. You are loosening your creative limbs, letting your imagination muscles contract and tear and reform even stronger. Writer's block is the bane of many, and it can be beaten. Some exercises I use to beat back writer's block are coming up with simple prompts for ideas or stories. They often do not make any sense, and they are way too weird for even me to talk about, even though I tell myself that there's no such thing. Now, you might think, well, what good is that? I mean, what's that going to do? If we come up with a prompt or write a story in, say, a language that we can't even read or understand, if we just write down scribbles, right? But that's the challenge. That's what makes this fun and exciting for the author. Figuring out how to tell a story to an audience in, let's say, partially a language that they can't understand. This is kind of hearkening back to what J.R. Tolkien did, right? He wrote the Elvish language first, and then he created a story around it. So, make up a language, jot down some scribbles, assign meanings to those scribbles. I mean, that's how words get created anyway. So, maybe do that with a few choice letters or words and assign them meaning, assign them a value of that can be interpreted, and then create some manner of story around that. And that's going to make things really challenging for the author. That's where the fun and the exercise come in. And that it's not easy. That's where the hard part's going to be as well. But once you figure out how to interact with an audience with a completely made-up language, it's really fun. And the growth that your writing will go through, the growth that your imagination will go through, it's going to be all the more worth it. Another great way to help overcome any obstacles keeping you from achieving your writing goals is to indulge in one thing that the internet has in abundance. And that, bear with me, is workout influencers. It may sound a little out of left field here, but hear me out. I am not here to tell you to listen to any one person in particular, or to steer your views or downloads to anybody. Nothing of the sort. But I will tell you the advantages, the psychological effects of near endless hype that you get from gym bros. I mean, you got these roided out dudes yelling at you to get off your ass and go crush whatever it is your goal is. If you've ever been emotionally moved or inspired, or you felt a rush of energy or adrenaline, let's say from watching the big Avengers Assemble moment during Avengers Endgame, when all the heroes charge against Thanos and his army, or the Ride of the Rohirrim at Pelennor Fields, as the army of Rohan charges against the armies of Mordor. It's because those moments are speaking to primal elements inside of us, telling us to rage against the darkness to preserve the light. And Gym Bros do the same thing, but it's a lot more pointed. They are talking to you. They are making those inspirational videos and speaking directly to the audience. And the same goes, they're there to motivate you, to hype you up, to get your blood going, to inspire you. And that goes for killing anything in yourself that's standing in your way. You've just got to open yourself up to drinking in all of the hype. You have to allow yourself to drink the Kool-Aid, man. The motivation, the rush of adrenaline. Let it be the only thing filling your mind. And then once you've got all of that energy, go to work. Harness it. Hone it down to a ballpoint and tackle that pen and paper. Now, different methods are going to work for different people. Some folks might actually find the kind of motivation and drive that they need from meditation, focusing on singular thoughts or ideas. Others might need to repeat mantras in front of a mirror, making eye contact with themselves as they verbally convince of what they need in order to succeed. However you amp yourself up, I think the thing that stays true no matter what is the need to remain consistent. Whatever works for you, keep doing that. Keep revisiting that driving factor that you've found. Now, I'm not going to advocate for anything that is harmful or detrimental to your health. An author that a lot of people study for inspiration is Stephen King. And Stephen King did cartoonish amounts of cocaine while cranking out tons of his best work. I'm not here to tell you to grab a couple 8-balls. That's not my bag. But I will be the one to tell you that you can achieve what you set your mind to. If you can go to work just as hard as Stephen King on Scarface mountain sizes of cocaine, then do it. I like studying the life stories of people like that, like Walt Disney or Sylvester Stallone, stories of real success that had hard starts and even rockier roads. Pun not intended here. But these were journeys and paths that had really rough starts, and the journeys themselves were incredibly difficult, all the way to their final destination of victory. I mean, these guys, even after their first couple tastes of success, they did not have anything come easy to them. And there's some great tales of perseverance and self-respect. And I definitely encourage anyone out there to peruse YouTube, Google, and find their stories, and let them at least show you what that kind of inspiration can do. Let these stories be a great example to you for what you can achieve on your own. You don't need anything. You need a pen and paper. That's all you need. You need a pen and paper and yourself. Within yourself, that dedication, that drive, that discipline to keep going over and over and over. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take draft after draft, screw up, tossed ideas pulled back up out of the trash can. It's going to take people getting mad at you. It's going to take maybe you giving up going to the gym once or twice a week. It's going to take you doing stuff at work, missing parties. But if that's what you want to dedicate yourself to, if that's actually your passion, then go for it. Don't stop until you have reached your pinnacle idea of what success looks like. Whether that's putting out a book, entering and winning a whole bunch of writing competitions, being the next big talk show for authors, whatever it is, go and do that. And of course, this applies to all of us, not just the authors among us or people looking to make a name for themselves in a literary career one way or another. I think this is some really good advice for anybody that has any kind of drive or ambition. Go out and get what's yours, man. Put in the long hours, the hard work, the dedication, always thinking about it, always having what you're passionate about on your mind. Make that who you are. And you'll win. You'll succeed. I guarantee it. But that is all I had for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning back in. Stick around for more Sci-Fi Unchained. But for now, live long and prosper, my friends. And may the Force be with us all.